The scientific angler, as soon as the fish is hooked, turns his rod over and brings his line uppermost so that it hugs and strains the rod equally at every inch of its length, leaving to the rings their proper function of simply guiding the line. As some of our skillful surgeons perform even the delicate operation for a cataract equally well and with either hand, so must the successful salmon angler become ambidextrous. A.G. Wilkinson.
See, there's no one fishing over there. Every morning, usually there's always someone over there fishing. So the fishing must be pretty bad.
Our four-legged friend, Mr. Rocky Raccoon. He has been here, hoping for a free meal this morning of salmon. On this very early August morning, our good friend Richard Phillips takes us on a fishing excursion at Burpee's Bar.
Used to have a camera stuck in my face when I'm fishing.
How long is your leader, Dick?
Oh, about 10, 11 feet. You see, my rod is 8.5 feet. So this is the leader there.
Okay.
It's another, maybe about 10 feet. That's the great fun, is to see that. And all of a sudden your line, goes out. That's the good fun.
The first trip down through the bar proves unsuccessful. However, We decide to stay with Mr. Phillips as he prepares to embark on a second trip down through Burpee Bar and hope to hook the big fish.
Got one.
I'm moving.
How do you ever get on? I don't know. I don't know if it's a salmon or not. Might be a trout. Probably a trout. No? Well, you're lucky. Here's something. I gotta take it off.
Okay.
You get a whole quad. I don't want to
Deeper. Deeper. Just two of the cucumber. Really lucky to get that. He took it when I was stripping my line in. Usually they don't take like.
To be 18 miles from the main camp when fish are rising as fast as they can be killed, and to have but 3 pieces of pilot bread for the angler and his 2 men, and to be forced to go without supper and breakfast or else give up the sport and return, will bring the bad out of any man if it is in him. The next leg of our journey took us to a place where there are literally thousands of salmon at times. It's the Magtaquack Fish Hatchery, run by Jim McCaskill, our tour guide on this day.
They're sorting adult salmon out that have come down from the dam. And as they go along, they determine whether it's male or female, whether it's a salmon or a grilse, whether it has any scars on it or marks. We're trying to select broodstock, so if it's in good condition, we may keep it for broodstock. We keep about 400 to 500 for broodstock each year. Those that are not kept for broodstock are all transported upriver to spawn naturally in the upper St. John River, above Magtaquack or into the Tobique River. As they're going along, they take a scale sample and weigh and measure about 10% of the fish. About 25% of the fish that come through are hatchery returns. The smolt that have been released from the hatchery and gone to sea and back again. They can usually determine whether or not it's a hatchery return, whether by the degree of fin erosion that may be on it. Usually if you grow them in high densities in a hatchery, you have some fin erosion just due to the stress of overcrowding.
Jim, some of these fish are kept as broodstock, but then after that, the ones that aren't, are they released now?
Yes, they're all transported upriver above the Magtaquack Dam. Some released at Woodstock, and others released at Arthurette into the Tobique River. A very small number put into the Aroostook River, and a small number, once again, put into the upper St. John River above Grand Falls at St. Leonard.
So how, you can only do that at certain times of the year, like that, or you can only release fish in the late summer, is it, or?
No, they start their migration into the St. John River in the spring, just shortly after the ice goes out. Usually in May, and they keep coming up the St. John River right until the end of October.
Well, I know that some of the local salmon fishermen, they come here and they check the numbers. What are they checking for? Just doing a comparison of this year's fish to last year?
Well, generally that's what they do. Some anglers are not interested in going angling, perhaps, unless there are a large number of fish in the river. But generally they like to keep track on how many have come any one year in relation to any other year. In 1994 were way low in the numbers.
In compared to, what, say 10 years ago, for example?
Well, in comparison to last year, or in comparison to the last 10 years, as far as that goes.
Now that,
We've only got 4,400 so far this year, and in 1993 we had 5,700. In 1992 we had 9,100. So we're less than half what we had in 1992, and it certainly wasn't an exceptional year. 1980 we had 29,000 for the total year, and at this time we probably had somewhere around 17,000.
now that last fish that was taken out, where's that head? Is that in the brood stock now?
Yes, that's correct. We have special ponds to keep our broodstock salmon in.
There's some beautiful fish here. So now all of these fish, some of these fish that have been raised here, or all of these fish have been raised here?
No, they haven't. They're, about 75% of them are wild salmon.
That have come up the ladder?
They've been captured at the fishway at Magtaquack Dam.
Right. Now that's a measuring device that they have right there, is it not?
That's correct.
That's just to measure the width of the...
Measures the length, to measure the length of the salmon.
And that, they're classified after that, are they? In different sizes for this group?
No, they're all,
Basically all the same
if they're
size.
broodstock, they're all going in the same pond. We have a quota of males and females to collect, and right now we're probably concentrating on males because we're always short of those.
What's she doing now? She's finding something on.
She's putting a Carlin tag on. We scale sample each of the broodstock that we take, and when it comes spawning time, we have to pair them up.
So how many fish will they do this morning? How many fish?
Well, there are not very many there this morning. I think there are about 40 or 45 there.
How many would you have done over the course of the summer if it's the spring? How many would you have to sort? Talking
This year?
thousands, tens of thousands?
This year?
Yeah,
No, only 4,400.
and that's a very small number to say compared to previous years.
That's correct. Well, any of the broodstock we're keeping, we give them an injection of antibiotic to kill any carrier bacteria that may be in them.
Really?
Yeah, because it is susceptible to furunculosis or kidney disease, or well, those are the two probably most common ones that we would expect to have encounter down here. And we give them an injection of that and put them down there, and then we normally don't have any problem in holding them.
So how big can they get? How much can they?
Well, the largest one we've had this year is 26 pounds, but they can get larger than that. Usually on the St. John River you don't see them much larger than that because they have to travel down through the dams each time they're coming down through it, so mortality is high enough that there's not enough of them that get to survive more than 3 or 4 years from sea life. But certainly if you go on to some of the other rivers that have no impoundments on them, they can get up to 40 pounds, and if you go on the Restigouche, they can get about 50 pounds.
Just to get them closer to the entrance?
Well, that's the only way they'll go in through, see, because they're swimming in.
Yeah.
Swimming in on their own, and that forces them in, because it's slow. 300 or 400 salmon in there. You might get 2 or 3 that want to swim upstream, and then you wait for an hour for the next one to come. So that doesn't work.
Ah.
So we had to switch the water around, run it downstream and then just raise the braille and they would be forced in.
That's neat.
For a job like that, you can't take 2 days to do a half day's
No,
work.
no, definitely not.
In the summertime, if the river water gets too warm, we add well water to it to cool it down. In the wintertime, if the river water is too cold, we add well water to warm it.
The best companion of the library, the drawing room, and the watering place, although possessed of the most kindly attributes, oftentimes becomes absolutely unendurable when quartered for a day or two on the banks of a Canadian river with limited cuisine, unlimited numbers of insects, and poor luck at angling. This program has been brought to you in association with the New Brunswick Department of Natural Resources.
Fundy Cable. It's got According with Carmen. Sundays at 3:30 and Mondays at 7 on Cable 10, your community channel.
The New Brunswick Community Television Archive, exploring New Brunswick's history of community television programming, is an educational initiative of CHCO-TV.